Hello, welcome to something that's a little bit different. So, I'm going to try and do a Lord of the Rings Third Age full game 80% glitchless run tutorial. So, for anyone who doesn't know what Third Age is, I'm going to give a little quick overview on what the game is about, how it works, and then I'll go into the first part of the tutorial. So the Third Age is set around a group of characters that are tracking the actual Fellowship. You start with two, and you slowly gain more into the party as the game goes on. How the game mechanics work is it is a turn-based RPG. So you free roam throughout each level, and you come across encounters. In those encounters, it becomes turn-based, so you have a turn, the enemy has a turn, and the idea is to kill them all and not die. Very straightforward, right? So the run itself is quite long. The glitchless run means that you are not allowed to use any out of bounds to progress through the game, which actually makes the run kind of easier in some ways because you actually unlock quite a lot of extra abilities that you wouldn't normally get in the unrestricted run, where you're allowed to use out of bounds to skip fights. So when it comes to big boss fights, like against the Balrog, for example, it becomes a lot easier. Uh, how the tutorial is going to work is I'm going to split it into each region. So the game is split into 7 different regions. Yeah, seven, maybe more. So we'll start with region 1, which is actually quite short, and then we'll go into West Moria, then East Moria, East Emnet Gullies, Rohan, Helm's Deep, Osgiliath, sorry, then Minas Tirith, and then finally Pelennor Fields. Um, it may not be a full-fledged tutorial because the run, this run is my PB and it's 5.5 hours. There is some I can take off that because I do have like a lot of free time saved because of deaths. But we'll go into it. We'll look at the first region, and then we can go from there. But before we do, I do want to quickly explain skills. So each character has a set of skills. I'm just loading up a sticky note so I know what skills they are. And so you want to be unlocking a certain number of certain list of skills. So I'm going to bring up what I have for notes when I'm doing runs. And these are in the orders that you want to do. So in the party, you have 6 characters by the end of the game. 2 of them you don't need to worry about. So you have Morwyn and you have Eoden. You don't need to worry about unlocking any skills with them because we'll hardly really ever use them. And even with Eoden, who actually we use a bit more than I thought, he already has his most powerful attack unlocked at the start once you meet him. And we don't meet them until Rohan, so that's way later in the run. The 4 characters you want to focus on are Berethor, Idriel, Elegost, and Hadod. Hadod is kind of optional. You don't really need to do this, but I do it anyway. So each character has 2 separate skill trees along with a passive skill tree. The passive skills you'll never actively you'll never select them in a battle. They'll just be there. So we'll start with these. So Berethor has 2 trees. He has sword attacks and he has leadership skills. The way you want to do that is in this order. So when you first start the game, you won't be able to just pick which one you want to unlock because there's like 3 that you have to unlock before the tree branches out. Once you've unlocked Orcbane, this is where you start to pick. So how the game works is you have 2 skills on the same sort of level. Once you've unlocked one of them in that level, it unlocks the next level down. So you want to be changing these as soon as you unlock the one before. So as soon as you learn Shattering Strike, which is the first one you want to learn, you want to select Counterattack. Once you've unlocked Counterattack, you want to do Still Rage and then Ecthelion Wrath. This one, again, you'll never actively use in a battle. It's just an ability that Berethor will have where if an enemy attacks him, he has a chance of counterattacking. So he'll go and do some free damage to somebody. Citadel Rage makes it so he hits twice in one turn. Ecthelion Wrath means you'll have 3 attacks. So he'll do an animation where he hits the enemy 3 times, or at least attempts to hit them 3 times. His leadership ones, these affect the whole party. So in a battle, you can do these, and the whole party benefits from what they get. Stand Fast is very important. So Stand Fast means that the party cannot be stunned in that battle unless they die. If they die and come back to life, like say you bring them back to life, you have to give them Stand Fast again. But Stand Fast is very important later on in Pelennor Fields because we'll be fighting a bunch of Mummakil who can basically stun lock you, which means basically keep stunning you but doing damage until you die. But I'll come to that in Pelennor Fields later on. You've got Company Resistance, Company Rally, and Shield of Courage. Shield of Courage, actually, if I remember correctly, makes all of the party immune to fear, which comes into play when you fight the Nazgul and the Eye of Sauron. Actually, no, the Eye of Sauron overwhelms it, so never mind. Okay, Idriel has 2 trees, but we only focus on one. So she has Swordcraft and she has Spirit Powers. We never ever use Idriel for Swordcraft because her Spirit Powers are just so much better. So once you've unlocked Haste of the Elves, which is the first blast ability in like the mandatory ones, you want to do Drain and Inspiration, which basically takes action points from enemies. You want Aura of the Valor, which means that if one of your characters is killed in battle, it's not game over, so it will just revive them there and then, and they also have the next turn. Power of the Valor, which is it's similar to Aura of the Valor, but it's not like an automatic thing, so you will actively do Power of the Valor to revive a fallen teammate. And then Cleansing Waters, so what that does is remove any negative effects on your party. So say a character gets poisoned or has a spirit ability which is taken away. So certain enemies have abilities which means you can't do certain attacks. This will counteract that. Elegos has 2 trees. He has Bowcraft and Rangercraft. You want to unlock Arrow Flurry first because that's the one on the level above. We're trying to get Crippling Shot. That's the one we really need. But to unlock that, we need to unlock one of the 2 above. Arrow Flurry is just the best one. So Crippling Shot is very important for when we reach Osgiliath because there's a part in the run where Idriel is separated. And Idriel is our main character that we use. But there's a part when she's separated from the rest of the party, so we can't use her for certain fights. And some of those fights include fighting the Nazgul. So instead, we use Elegos Crippling Shot, which basically means that you delay the enemy's turn. So if you hit them with Crippling Shot, it gets rid of their next turn. So the enemy can't have a turn. If you keep looping that, you never, ever have to worry about the enemy having a turn. So you just keep attacking until they die. Rangercraft is just a different tree. Arrows of Sleep is very good, and we actually combine that with one of his passive skills, which is Sleep Volley, which basically means that he'll hit every single enemy. So he'll do multiple attacks, but you only use it once. And then Paralyzing Shot. It's just there if you need it. Like you will unlock another Rangercraft in the run naturally, so it's just nice to have Paralyzing Shot in case you want to use it. The reason why I have Hadhod here as well is because if you use him, you can unlock basically the same skill, but with a melee attack. So Crippling Smash is exactly the same as Crippling Shot, but it's just a bit of a different animation. So it's nice to have a backup in case something happens to Elegost, or you haven't unlocked Crippling Shot yet. In terms of passive skills, the ones that I go for is Berethor's is increased armor, immune to fear, double attack, and Ecthelion Might. How the passive skills tree works is it's based upon how many times you level up. So once you've leveled up 5 times, you'll get increased armor, another 5 times immune to fear, and so on and so forth. And then you just want to select these as you go. So there's a lot to keep track of. There is a guide on speedrun.com, which is very good. So it basically tells you when you want to be looking at skills. I do have in my splits file like different notes. So let me just bring up my splits file. So if I load up my third age splits, what I've done is I've basically gone through each fight in this layout. You'll see like each fight has like its own split, and I've noted down like when to check for certain things. So if we load up the Glitchless, which is this one, I have this little box here. So this is actually a component for Live Split called Speed Guides Live. And if I load up the actual guide, how I've done it is this is like each split. So these notes will appear here. So if I start the timer, like I'm on the first orc split right now, and you can see like it's telling me what to do per split. And you can basically do that throughout the whole run. So you want to have these fights here. So you'll have like two different fights in this split where you look at chest trap, cutscene fight, which is the one after the cutscene, which I'll show you when we start the tutorial. And then you've got like these notes here, which tell me what to add to certain characters and when. Also, what chests to pick up as well. So essentially, that's what you're looking for. Like you'll see, I had this for all the run. This is basically what's in the guide on speedrun.com, but just in a better format for me. Like this is my preference because it's just this box here. You can just follow the guide on speedrun.com, which is the one what I did for my first few runs. But it's completely up to you, whatever you feel most comfortable with on that one. So let me just close these down because I don't need them anymore. So yeah, we'll start looking at the actual run now. So sorry for the people that have tuned in just to watch the run and tutorial, but I thought 12 minutes just to spend looking at the abilities was worth it. So we'll start with Eregion. So this is about half an hour. I actually did a lot better in this, so I actually beat it a lot of times here. You should be able to hear the game as well, so you can hear it. I'm keeping it a bit low so you can hear me. The first part of the run is part of the rules. You must show the difficulty that you're running on. So how you do that is at the start of the game, you go into more, and then you just pick these options, and just make sure that's part of your recording before you submit the run. Also, I should mention that I'm running on emulator, so the world record run and mine, I'm currently in second place, are both run on Dolphin emulator. So it emulates the GameCube version of the game, which is pretty cool because there's actually a feature where, because this game was so big, it had 2 discs. So you had to switch the discs, whereas Dolphin can do it for you, which is quite good. There's no set rule on which console you can use, so you can use any version of the game. Xbox only has 1 disc, but there is a variation in load times. So I could go into that, but it's quite complicated. So anyway, let's start the actual run. So your first, time. I should mention as well. Time starts as soon as you press new game. So new game, you start the timer. So the first thing you'll do is you're gonna go through this cutscene. So this cutscene is basically pointless. And this fight you cannot win. Like you cannot beat these guys. So all we do is you'll have the first turn. Just scroll down and press skip. So just skip your turn. Because this ring wraith will attack and he will kill you. That is fine. That is perfectly normal. So that triggers into this cutscene. I should point out this cutscene is extremely laggy, so there's nothing we can do about this. So if you run an emulator, this cutscene is going to lag. There's just nothing you can do about it. Okay, the first thing to do is switch to Idriel. So when you complete certain objectives in the game, you get given XP. And we want to give most of it to Idriel, so we upgrade her most, basically. Don't worry about the first chest. It's just a shield, so we don't need to worry about that. When you see this, so if I get like a pen here, I can just draw here. So like, when you see this on your screen, it means you're about to enter into a mandatory fight. So these ones you cannot skip. When you see the Palantir, you have to do them. There is a different icon that can appear, which is non-optional. But I'll discuss that when it comes up later. Also, nice menuing. So the first orc is actually quite straightforward. In fact, I am going to bring up my guide again, actually, because it's actually useful here. I did not think about it. I can actually follow along and tell you what attacks to do quite easily. But I'll do it from here. So the first orc is very straightforward. So you want to do an attack with Idriel and a Guardian Strike as Berethor. And that is it. That's the first orc dead. And then you can kind of do what I do here, so you can split after there. Like, in terms of where you split, that's up to you. Like, you don't have to split after like each fight. Certain fights I don't do, but I just choose to do it here. Now, this is a part of the run which is kind of optional here. So this fight by this chest, you can actually skip. So you don't have to do this fight, because you can just kind of walk around here. So you can just hug the right wall and it will actually skip the fight, which is probably why my best time is actually like that. There's one small problem with doing that, though, is that you don't level up. So this fight at the chest is really good for leveling up the characters, because both Berethor and Idriel will level up from this fight. Which means you go into the next fight with full action points and full health as well. So the first thing to do in this fight is take out the sword guy. So use Loudwater Fury on the sword. And then Berethor can do a Guardian Strike on the archer. He won't die. But then he'll get a turn. But Orc Shot is a lot less than the slash off the sword guy. Then you just do another Guardian Strike and he should be dead. And that's why you kind of need to have the level up here, because you'll run out of AP and then you can't do Guardian Strike. You can only do normal attacks without refilling it. You can grab this chest. I choose to get it because it's got a long bottom leaf, which helps to restore action points. And then you'll trigger a cutscene here. Straight after, you're gonna end up in another fight. So you've got 2 archers and a sword guy. This is like one of the few times we'll actually use Fluid Strike as a drill. So this is a sword craft ability. You want to take out the 2 archers first. So you get rid of the archer there. Then Berethor gets a turn. You use Guardian Strike on the other archer. Because he leveled up, he now can kill him in one go. Whereas before, he couldn't. That's why the chest fight is actually important. So this guy will get a turn. He'll do an Orc Slash. I get lucky, he actually missed. And then you just want to Loudwater Fury him. And that will kill him in one. Maybe that was a real split. So yeah, so once you've done that, we're going to go into the first like upgrade part. So as soon as you finish this, you can head off and you can trigger this cutscene. So you just walk in here, trigger the cutscene, and then you'll get like XP for journeying to the Elf Outpost. Like, this is just an objective. I grabbed that chest for a Leaf of Old Toby, but you don't have to. I just choose to do it. So once you've got past this cutscene, you're going to trigger a fight when you get up this ramp. So where this like icon is on here, you're going to trigger it. I actually didn't add the things yet. That's actually quite surprising. But yeah, so first thing to do is get rid of the archer. I think I messed this up, actually. I think I did the wrong thing. Yeah, I did. So I only have 40 AP left, means I can't use Loudwater Fury. What you're supposed to do here is Fluid Strike the first archer, because that will still be enough to kill him. And that leaves you with enough XP to be able to use Loudwater Fury. So yeah, then Guardian Strike the sword, and then you want to... We'll skip over the enemy's turn. Yeah. So if I'd have added the strength in the right time, I would have killed him in one, but I didn't. So that's my bad. And then I had to just attack here. It's like this fight's really messed up in my PB, but Basically, this is what you want to do in this, guys. So you want to, before the fight, you want to add all of the points for Idril onto Spirit and all of the points for Berethor onto Strength. And that'll make it so you can Fluid Strike the Archer, you can Guardian Strike the Sword, and that will be it. Those guys will be dead. And then you can focus on this. So you allow Water Fury the Banner guy, and then you do 2 Guardian Strikes. That's how the fight should go. But because I misclicked and did the wrong thing, I've kind of stuck. So you can see this fight went a bit wrong. There you go. Now I finally killed it. I should have saved more time there, but that's how not to do that fight anyway. Okay, so now there's a bunch of cutscenes, and we're going to get to the first part where we see this. So I'm going to try and get it more. There you go. So that is the other like symbol that pops up on screen when you're going to trigger an encounter, but those encounters are not mandatory. They're not linked to the story at all. You can just retreat from those fights, but you want to try and avoid that. So you want to be moving like optimally as possible. Grab this chest because it's got elf medicine in. That's always handy. And here's where I finally actually equip stuff, I think. I still don't do it. Okay, I'm really bad at this. This one's really bad. So yeah, make sure you add on abilities whenever you can because it's like ideal. Like there, I almost triggered it. You can just see like the Eye of Sauron nearly finished. But once you enter this area, it gets rid of it because there's a cutscene that plays. Okay, so we're in a cutscene with Elegost. We finally meet him. Now we have 3 people in the party. This fight's really easy. So the chances are, because of how quick Warg is, he'll have that first turn. Essentially, all you want to do is Guardian Strike, Loud Water Fury, and Creature Bane. Also, yeah. And that should be it. There you go. And that's it. That's all you need to do. So once you've triggered this cutscene, you'll probably level up. You then just want to quickly do all of these. So these should already be pretty much done, but just add strength for everyone, for Elegost and Berethor, and add spirit for Idril. And just check as well that Elegost's action points have refilled, because you're going to need it in this fight. So if he hasn't, just use Longbottom Leaf and give him action points back. So this fight is exactly the same as the first Warg fight. So it's Creature Bane, Loud Water Fury, and Guardian Strike. But just the fact that there's 2 Wargs. That's literally the only difference in the fight. So you're not going to have all the turns to kill them. So work your way through. If you run out of AP as Elegost, like I did here because I was stupid, just use normal attacks. Okay. So we trigger another cutscene here. What the game wants you to do is actually go into the middle of this area. So you see this path here on the radar. It wants to go here because that's going to trigger like a cutscene and say you followed the Fellowship, like you've found their camp. Don't do that. It's slow. Just follow the path around to the left, and then you can enter here. Also, you won't trigger an encounter that way as well, which is really good. Yeah, just checking stats. I was checking stats there because I wasn't sure if I had enough AP, but this first fight, hug this left wall and go down towards these stairs, and you'll trigger this fight that has 2 walks. You don't need to worry about doing any special attacks here, even though I do, apparently. You can just do this fight with regular attacks. I think I probably realized this after the run I finished. Yeah, I don't do that. Just use regular attacks because it's enough to kill them. Doing this was really stupid because I lose all my AP unless Idril levels up, which she may have done, actually. I may have got lucky. Yeah, she leveled up, so that's fine. But that fight, you don't need to worry about doing those attacks. Just kill them. It's the same here as well. So 3 orcs. This is actually a little bit particular. So once the fight starts, I'm going to quickly show you what to do. So do I do this? Okay, I do this stupidly. Okay, so don't I'm going to teach you the proper way of doing this fight, not the way I do it here. So let me start here. So this is the order, by the way. I forgot to mention this earlier. So it's going to go Elegost, Idriel, then an Orc, and then Berethor. So first of all, Elegost you want to use to attack this guy, and you just want to do a regular attack. That's all you want to do. Don't worry about like using the range and craft stuff. It's just the animation's really slow, and the payoff isn't really that good because you can build up skills later on. Idriel again, just attack the middle guy. So just use a sword. Just use the same attack. The only exception is Berethor. So once this Orc's had his turn, Berethor gets a turn. He attacks this guy, and he uses Guardian Strike. So that's how you want it to work. So you want Idriel to attack the middle, Elagos attack the left, and Berethor Guardian Strike the right. It also works out quite nicely because when you target enemies, like it will always target the one that's on the left first. So you don't have to worry about picking an enemy to attack here. But that's all you need to do. You don't need to worry about using special attacks here because it's kind of slow. So we'll skip over the fight. And then you'll get another cutscene, which leads into this. You go down the ramp, and guess what? Another cutscene. That's why this part is so slow, because there's just so much intro cutscenes. Okay, so once you enter this forest, that'll tell you about learning new skills. Don't worry about it. We already know about it. Take this right path. Don't worry about going up here. That's not needed for any percent. If you did the run where you need to get like 100% in every region, you would need to go up here, but don't worry about it. Once you come out here, you're going to trigger... sorry, not out here. Once you get through this like tunnel at the back, you're going to trigger a fight. None of these chests are really worth it. Like, this has some Lembesin to get health, but the chances are you'll probably get that from fights, so you can probably skip that if you really wanted to. So once you get in this pool, you're going to trigger the first mage fight. So the mages are actually quite powerful, so they actually can do like a bit of damage. So because of my AP, I end up having to attack. How you want to do this fight, again, is you want to target the mage first. So if we just go back a frame or two so I can show you. Okay, so see here, you've got a mage, you've got a guy with a shield, and you've got a pincer guy. So these guys actually do a bit of damage. These guys are just annoying. So how you want to do this fight is Elagos is going to go first. Like, you see the order here actually favors you. Like, your characters are faster than these three. So you should always have the first 3 turns. I've never had a run where I didn't have these, by the way. So first of all, target the mage. So Elagos, you want to do aimed shot. I'm just going to do AS, so aim shot, which is a ranger craft move. Then Idriel, if Idriel goes, so Idriel's going to go next. You want to use Loud Water Fury on the middle guy. So taking out these guys affects the order as well. So obviously these right now, they each have a turn each. If you kill them, they can't have a turn. So it gets rid of that risk. So as Idriel, this will one-shot. So Loud Water Fury, the middle guy. And then Berethor can finish off the mage with Guardian Strike. So that's how you want that fight to go. So Elagos and Berethor target the mage with aim shot and Guardian Strike. And then Idriel, you want to target the middle guy with the pincers. And you want to use Loud Water Fury. Once that's done, you'll only have the sword guy left to deal with. And then you can just, whoever gets the turn, just use the same attack. So like here, like Elagos is going to get the turn. There you go. See, I play that badly because of Elagos's AP, but that's how I explained it just now is how you want to do that fight. Okay. So now, just make sure like AP and stuff's refilled. There is another option you can do. So, is it this side or the other side? Is the other side? Okay, so as you walk around this path, so you're just going to follow the path around, you are going to trigger one of these fights. There is no way to avoid it. So you're going to end up in an encounter that you don't have to do. How you play this depends on the order. So this is a bit random. So right now, I get lucky. So because these three enemies, they can be completely random. They will not always be these three enemies. It can be like, it can be wargs, it can be anything that you've encountered so far. Because my three characters are first, you can just do this. So you can just retreat. You don't need to do this fight. So just retreat as all three characters. And then you can just move on. Also, a quick note as well to quickly mention, if you retreat as one character, even if another character dies, you won't game over. It will just treat it like the end of a fight and it will let you carry on. Also, you can't retreat from mandatory fights. Should probably point that out. So here, I don't know if I do it in this run, but there are some chests in this area. And like here. Don't go for them. They are pointless. I think I might go for them in this run, but don't. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go up here. Because this is where this mage fight is. And then when you come out, it's going to make you come back this way. And then you go up here. That's what you want to do. You want to ignore this area altogether. There is nothing useful here. There are some chests that I thought were worth it, but they're actually really not. So another option you can have here as well is if you don't want to use items to refill anything, or maybe you forget, you can save the game at these save points. And what that will do is that will completely refill your health and your action points. So you go into here, like this is a very brief tunnel. You're going to trigger another mage fight. So here I'm actually okay for AP. So you want to use Loud Water Fury on the left guy first. Then you want to aim shot the mage. Actually, scratch that. I think did I do this fight wrong as well? I did. Okay. Scrap what I just said. Sorry. So this fight, I misclicked. That's why it went wrong. So when I pressed Loud Water Fury as Idriel, I should have been targeting the mage. So this guy. So you want to take out the mage because he's annoying. So when you use Loud Water Fury, target the mage. Eregion, you want to just attack this guy. So Eregion goes here. So let me just put this. That's Loud Water Fury. This is a basic attack. You don't need to worry about using any special attacks here. I'll put at. And then Guardian Strike on the sword. We'll get rid of him. If the mage somehow survives, which he sometimes can because the damage you do is a bit random, just finish him off with whoever gets the next turn. And if you ever use Berethor to do it, just make sure it's Guardian Strike that you use. Because that way it just increases the counter by 1. So yeah, so that's basically what you want to do there. So this is how you want to do it. So Idriel target the mage as the other fight. And then Eregion takes out the left guy, Berethor takes out the right guy. That's how you want to do that fight. Again, like I said before, this isn't a perfect run. This is actually quite a bad run. But it's just like the basis of where I learn stuff. Okay, grab this. It's got horn pollen. Sorry. Don't worry about that. By the way, that was stupid of me. So horn pollen puts enemies to sleep, which we may use later on. Here. Don't worry about saving there if you want to recharge, because there's another save point by the troll fight. Oh, it's actually clever. So yeah, I didn't go here. So yeah, follow this. This is why I save so much time here. Like I saved like 2 minutes on here because I used to go for the chests, but you don't have to. Okay, so either here, like I don't use the save point because I'm trying to get world record, so it is slow. So to save the game, it probably takes around 20 to 30 seconds for the game to save and like reload, whereas equipping items is a lot faster. So if you're going for speed, use items. If you just want to play safe and you want to save the items for later, use a save point. So yeah, you just want to go into this fight with as much health and everything. Make sure you've got like strength as Berethor and Elegost. You can put spirit on Idril as well here. Because basically here, you're not actually going to use Idril in this fight. So you're going to trigger a cutscene with a troll, and this is where we finally meet Hadhad. So he's going to join the party. So this fight, you're only going to use Berethor, Elegost, and Hadhad. Because basically the troll, Loudwater Fury for Idril doesn't really do anything. So this fight, how it works is dependent on the order that you're going to get. So the attacks you're going to do eventually, Elagos is going to use Creature Bane. So let me just do a little CB. Bad handwriting, sorry. Berethor is going to use Guardian Strike because we love that attack. Hadhad is going to use Dwarven Cleave, which I'll show you in a moment. The reason why I'm doing a regular attack here is because I'm doing something extra with Berethor first. So I'm using Company Might. So because we need to level up leadership, we still need to use this. So Company Might increases the damage that you do with attacks. So yeah, here's Dwarven Cleave. It's an Axecraft ability, so it's in here. And basically that's what you want to do. You just want to repeat it. So Creature Bane, I get quite lucky here, double critical, which is actually quite rare. So then it misses to make up for it. So yeah, you just want to repeat that. So you just want to Creature Bane, Guardian Strike, Dwarven Cleave. Like, don't worry about the chances are the troll will not be able to kill you because it doesn't have enough turns. And then Idril should level up as a result because we have Idril like as our main character when we walk around. She gets the XP from doing objectives. So once we've killed the troll and found Hadhad, she gets the experience. So let me just delete what's on the screen. Oh yeah, get these chests because they've got some pretty cool items in. Like get 1 and 3. So there's 3 chests in the room. So you got like 1, 2. That's a really bad 2, but you get what I mean. And 3. This chest, there's not anything useful, but 1 and 3 have some cool items in. So grab those. So if we look here, 1 has Defy Water Veil Fresh Athalas, which means you get full health back, and 3 has Elf Medicine. So in case you need to revive someone in a battle. Right, and now we come up to like the final battle of the first region. So walk up here, keep following the path. Don't worry about this; they'll disappear. This chest's pointless. Leave it. And then once you get up here, save the game. So you want everyone at like the max level. So put your attacks on. Put Hadhad on. Put Spirit on Hadhad here. So we have like I think I'll have like 8 points. I think I saw. Add them all to Spirit. So don't worry about strength at this point because we're going to fight the Watcher in the water, which means you can't do melee attacks on him. So you cannot go up to him and attack him. You have to use ranged attacks. So with Hadhad, we use Flaming Fury. So you want Spirit to increase the damage that he does with that. You can overwrite any save. Like this is a previous run that died because of the bridge. So yeah, you'll see I'm using emulator because of that. So yeah, when you go over here, you're going to trigger a cutscene, which is like orcs. Okay, so here's the fight. The way this is going to work, so I'm going to quickly just write down what the order is here. So if Elagos goes first, use attack. The reason why is because we are going to use Company Might first. So Company Might as Berethor. So we'll do CM. So that increases the damage that Elagost and Hadhod will do. You won't be able to do for Idriel because she's not in the party right now. She's like waiting, I suppose. So we'll do Company Might. So we'll do that as Berethor. Elagost then will use Creature Bane. That's really bad. Hadhod will use Flaming Fury, which is in his spirit powers. And then the next turn where you control Berethor, you swap him out for Idriel, and then you use Loudwater Fury. So those are the 4 attacks that you're going to use. So you see here, Elagost did a regular attack because Berethor hadn't gone yet. Same as Hadhod there. Like, you want Berethor to go first, but there's no way to manipulate it. It's basically like the game's like, yeah, sure, we'll put you first. So use Company Might, and then you can start using Creature Bane. And then you'll see here, like, Berethor gets the next turn. Just swap him out for Idriel and use Loudwater Fury. And then I actually learned Haste of the Elves there, which is really good. So then just repeat the process. So Creature Bane, Flaming Fury, and that's the fight done. Like, it's actually a very quick fight. Like, it takes like less, like getting to it and doing it. It's like a 1-minute fight doing that. But that's the end of the first region. So you get this cutscene, and then you're in West Moria, or Western Moria, I suppose. So yeah, I'm going to conclude the first part here. So we can do it region by region. This one's a little bit longer than probably the rest will be, just because of how it was going to work. I might do Moria as one video because it's quite a long. It is quite a long region, so I'll see how it goes. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope it does help you guys as well. So I will continue to do this tutorial. And I'll do my best to try and make things a bit clearer for you guys in terms of how to do the run. And if you have any questions, like, feel free to drop them in the comments, and I'll try and answer them as best I can. Like I say, I'm not the best at this game. Like, I don't have the world record. I won the world record, but it is going to be very hard for me to try and get at this point. Like, I'm still 40 minutes off, but I have some time soon. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And hopefully I'll catch you all in the next one. But until then, bye guys.